Space Gang, welcome to the season premiere, the season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, season 6 premiere of the BK Spadez Show. I am your host, the BK Spadez, here with my very, very lovely co-host,
Novacaine, baby.
High five. Are those the high fives for everybody?
I just want to point something out really quickly. I have on my Goku shirt, and I see you got Bulma on yours.
Did we coordinate this? Like
out of nowhere.
For real, I woke up like today seems like a Bulma day. You know, since she like one of my favorite characters on the whole show. I was like, I'm gonna put on the Bulma today. Yeah, I don't have like a Dragon. This is the only Dragon Ball Z shirt that I own currently. Like, cause I don't see any that I actually like, but this Bulma one, I thought was kind of. I thought it was adorable, and I was like, oh, look at little Bulma, look at little Bulma from the past. Alright, stop. Alright, Space Gang, so check it out. Listen, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about a few things, but our main event today is trans women. So we're going to be talking about trans women in sports and society, and mostly how Novacaine feels about trans women being, I'm going to set it up. How Novacaine feels about trans women being called women versus biological women, and I don't know exactly what her thoughts are exactly, so I know I just repeated exactly what. Anyway, so I'm just gonna wait. I wanted to wait and see what you had to say, because I'm interested to hear your opinions on that. Hey Andrea, we see you. Shout out to Andrea in the comment section. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Also on the show, we're gonna be talking about since we're talking about trans women, we're gonna be touching on some Umbrella Academy storyline there that we thought was pretty interesting in the execution of this current season, and we're gonna be talking about Roe v. Wade. Definitely gonna talk about Roe v. Wade. We can't not talk about Roe v. Wade.
We can't not talk about Roe v. Wade.
We're gonna talk about, definitely gonna get into Elon Musk and his daddy's baby daddy drama, which is
Lord,
totally weird. We're gonna touch on R. Kelly and Ghislaine. Listen, y'all know I be messing up some names. Just because it's a new season doesn't mean that changes. Okay. And I think that for the most part, that's the bulk of our show. I think
so. I think you named everything. I think that's everything.
Alright, you got the rundown. Now that you got the rundown, let's get into this episode. But make sure y'all do us a favor and head over to www.thebkspadeshow.com, where you can get some really great merch, all the episodes, all the videos, everything you want to see right there in one place. Boom. Alright, moving on. Let's jump into this, because I'm ready to get into this topic. So, let's talk about the Umbrella Academy first.
Okay. Under my umbrella.
I don't know. I hope you guys are watching the Umbrella Academy. It's a really good show on Netflix. If you're not, I don't want to spoil too much for you, so I won't. We're just going to jump right into a character named Vanya. Who, in the first 2 seasons of the show, this is 3rd season. In the first 2 seasons, it's 2nd season?
No, go ahead. What you was about to say? Her name is Vanya in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, in the first 2 seasons of the show, her name is Vanya. She's a woman. But in the 3rd season, what is old girl name? What's going on? Hey, if you can deliver food anytime you want, bro.
Just leave it at the door.
Yeah, just leave it at the door. I get it eventually. In the show, in real life, the actress that plays Vanya came out as trans.
Mm-hmm. I think that was in 2nd season, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, during the 2nd season. But she had full intentions on continuing the character as a female Vanya. But Netflix, the writers, and the creator of the comic book that the show is based on was like, no, you're trans, so we want the character to reflect you, basically. And they were okay with the changes. So, here we are, a lot of people upset that she goes from Vanya to Victor in the 3rd season, and they thought it was kind of weird and disrespectful to the character itself. So what do you think? Community be damned. What do you think?
Personally, I don't think it was disrespectful, but I do think it was just a little bit out of place. Like, it didn't really fit in with the storyline itself. But like you said, they wanted to say that the character reflected Elliot Page, so they wanted the character to go through that transition as well. But like I said, I don't think it was disrespectful. I just felt like it was out of place. Like, if they're trying to save the world for the third time, the universe this time, they try to save the universe this time, like, huh? You got some time to, I'm not myself. And I haven't been feeling myself for a long time. Meanwhile, we got Allison over here ready to... That's another story. Never mind.
Stay on topic on this. We're definitely going to have an episode where we're nerding out. But this ain't the one. We on the tight time schedule.
Right. No, facts. So I just felt like it was a little out of place. I could have done with or without it. And it did. It just felt a little... But I understand why they did it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It does definitely seem out of left field. I think the execution was really terrible. Like, I'm okay with having trans characters. I'm okay with having gay characters. I'm okay with having different... Because in the world we live in, we're super diverse. Like, it's these people, different races, different ethnicities. It exists. So for everybody to be up in arms about the whole white makes right, white is default, and they get upset anytime any character is changed in the slightest, I think that's stupid. I really don't have some super scientific way of saying that. It's just dumb. So there's no reason for you to be upset about this stuff. It's a character on TV, and let's just be honest here. It doesn't affect how the character interacts with the world. No,
it doesn't. That's why I felt out of place. That's exactly why. I'm sorry. Still has his powers. He still is like the least favorite sibling. He is still like the out of place person. So it's like it didn't really do anything for the storyline for me, myself.
It didn't. So. Because we didn't know that because Ellen Page is the actress. Because Elliot, I'm sorry, is the actor. Now, this is an accident. It's not on purpose, everybody.
You're trying your best. You're trying your best. You got to get used to it.
Yeah.
You got to get used to it.
So, Elliot, when she was Ellen, it didn't matter because we didn't see a buildup of her saying, I am awkward and I feel out of place because I am not in my own skin. Now, had we, hindsight's 2020, of course. Had we had that in the first two seasons, or at least in the second season, and then the change came, it would have hit harder.
Yeah.
So they really didn't have to change it, especially because Elliot didn't care about whether the character was trans. I'm sure he appreciates it, but it didn't matter to him, so it shouldn't have mattered as much to the writers. But again, it's their product. They can do what they want. You could do one or two things. You can watch it, you can turn it off.
Yeah. It's still trippy though to me. Like, Juno grew up to be Elliot. That's all. That's what me personally, but
I've heard that from the community, the nerd community, and people that was attracted.
It was shocking.
To Ellen.
Very shocking. Yeah, it was very shocking. It was one of those that you didn't see coming type of thing.
Facts. All right. So speaking of Umbrella Academy, let's move on to trans people in actual society. Let's see.
Oh, Andrea says she feels like she's not surprised. Oh, that makes one of us. Because I was surprised. I ain't even going to hold you. Maybe Andrea saw something that we didn't see.
Well, I always thought she was an adorable lady, Ellen. Not like I was attracted to her or anything. I just thought she was an adorable lady. It's like she gave off little sister vibes. That's my little sister over there. That's how I kind of view Ellen. So, for me, it was just, I didn't see that coming, but okay.
Yeah. Facts. But it's okay. That's the world we live in, It don't affect me.
Andrea, I think you might be the only one not surprised by Elliot's
I think so.
transformation.
I think so. Because did you just say transformation? You better not have just said transformation.
I didn't mean transfer. I meant transition. I was reading her comment, and it absolutely says Elliot transition. And I am such a nerd that every time I see the word trans, transformer.
Transformer
is the first. It's the first word that. Yeah, it was not on purpose, man. Don't shoot me, y'all.
I'm not. Oh, don't look so disappointed. It's okay.
I'm disappointed in myself right now.
Even pimps mess up. It's okay.
Pimps be messing up too. Let's move on so we can get through some of this conversation before I get myself into any more trouble. All right. So, what about trans women in sports? Because that's a huge thing right now. Thanks, Andrea. So, what do you feel? What is your feelings on that?
Personally, of course, I feel like trans women, specifically trans women, should have their own category. For the simple fact, biologically, you're still a male.
Mm-hmm.
Biologically, we already know scientifically that men are stronger. They can do certain things that women can't do. Well, maybe physically stronger. I ain't gonna go further in that part.
Because there's definitely different levels to that.
Yeah, but for okay, so prime example, the trans woman swimmer that decided to go into the women's league because he was getting dogged as a male swimmer. So, of course, if he has a longer wingspan, if he's taller, if he has more muscle mass, of course, he'll probably be better in a woman's sport. So, personally, I think that trans women should definitely have, their own category. A lot of people probably no, they could perform with women. But at the same time, you don't see trans men trying to get into the NBA. You don't see trans men saying anything about sports. Because they already know the physical disadvantage that they're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just me and my little tidbit on that.
Okay, so my thoughts are: one was, first of all, the swimmer. Are we sure that's exactly why he transitioned and went into women's sports?
That's a rumor.
Okay, that's the rumor. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. So allegedly, he transitioned to become a better swimmer for the women's league. Allegedly. Okay. All right. So number 2, there are plenty of women that are, like you alluded to, that are really stronger than men. So, say Rhea Ripley, she's on the taller end,
Okay.
So if she was to join, and she lifts weights, I'm sure she probably got powerful legs. She looks like she does. She's a strong individual. Or Bianca Belair. I'm using wrestlers because that's the only tall women in my head right now, or slightly
and
taller
women.
women.
Not even tall.
She's not that tall, but she has longer limbs, and so if she was to swim, she will have that wingspan too. So. It's kind of hard to argue, and I definitely understand both sides of this argument. As a woman, you're we already have to put up with so much, and then all of a sudden, now we have to compete against more people that are men or were men, and now they're coming into our space. So for you're not biological. Why are you here? And I get that. But when we break it down into sub levels, I guess, is it fair?
It's sort of like weight classes in boxing. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I get that. But how about we say we do preliminaries to see exactly how strong or how fast every woman is and trans woman together, and then we separate them into classes? Because I feel like if we say you got to have your transport over here, that is basically segregation, and then we're just going to open up a whole nother can of worms.
Okay, but that goes to the fact that trans women are not women. Period. I hate it. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, guys, but trans women are not women. I had to go deep diving for a hot little second over the past couple of months because a lot of people have called me transphobic in the past. Also, a little bit off topic. Let's abolish this whole transphobia, homophobic word. Phobia literally means irrational fear of. So, arachnophobia, you have an irrational fear of spiders. You don't want to be around them. You don't want to look at them. You definitely don't want it to touch you. I never felt that way.
Okay.
Never in my life had I felt that way. But going back to the previous part where I was saying that trans women are not women, I had to do some diving just to realize, just to understand scientifically what makes a woman a woman. Everything that came back had to do specifically with our reproductive organs. Because honestly, that is the difference between a man and a woman. Yes, we still have the same type of blood. Yes, we still have the same type of lungs. But in a man and a woman, they might be different sizes.
Okay.
They might, I think men have like a different artery, like a different main artery in the leg compared to women. So those are like biological things that separates men and women. So when you're transitioning from a man into a woman, you can't biologically change your DNA. Unfortunately, that's just unfortunate. So
I mean, it's true though. You can't. You're right.
That's why I am on this whole trans women are not women. For a very long time, women had to fight for so many different rights. Hell, I think just last year we started making more than a man in the workplace. Just last year.
Yeah, it's very recent. So yeah.
So it's like, I can respect you for who you are. I'm going to respect that because that's your choice in life. But don't try to dumb me down because I'm naturally born as a woman. Don't try to dumb me down because I can't see you as a woman. Also, how can I respect you as a woman and you didn't even have bottom surgery? How can I call you a woman and you got a big ass penis between your legs? That doesn't make any sense to me. I will call you a trans woman because that's what you identify as. But you're not a woman. Period. So those are my feelings. Those are my thoughts. I'll probably get canceled and I don't care.
So just to reiterate, I don't think you should be counseled for that. I can understand where you're coming from. On a personal note, I'm not a woman, so I don't really have like that big of a dog in the fight. I just respect people's boundaries and people what they want to identify as and how everybody feels, because I can understand all sides of this argument. I get it. When you are a trans individual, from my understanding, you go through growing up, you go through that, what is it, body dysmorphia or something like that? What is it called?
Uh-oh.
When you feel like you aren't in your own body. Right? So I kind of understand that when you have those feelings. So you won't get like an argument against me about wanting to be a woman. But I also understand that women, I'm sorry, y'all, it threw me off because we're live right now and then the chat just stopped on YouTube. Everything shut down, so I got a little concerned. It threw my thought off. So look, we're still not used to this live thing. This is fairly new. We're gonna try to go live on every episode and then redo an episode. I mean, chop it up, get all the good bits out of it, and then repost these on Tuesday or Wednesday on Spotify, which is a bit of a plug there, and on the website and all that good stuff. But anyway, I'm sorry, that's a tangent. I'll get back on because we got to end this conversation. So I totally get it, and I totally get how women feel, because y'all, again, you guys you ladies go through so much. But
trans women can't even tell me about the struggles of growing up and growing through puberty as a female.
Yeah, I was going to say,
talking about period here. We're talking about the daggone.
I didn't use it to go off. I was waiting on you to go off. I was like, don't go off on them too. Don't go off on them. But yeah,
we're talking about an emotional roller coaster through puberty. You don't know what's up or down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand men go through their own puberty as well, but like, as a woman, those hormones are
it's
ridiculous.
a different type of puberty though. Like, it's not the same. It's not remotely the same.
I was having this conversation about how I understood drugs more than I knew about my own body. Growing up. So like I get a period at 11, 12 years old, but I didn't even understand halfway why. But I had to learn why. I had to figure it all out. But now I'm in my 30s and you want me to call you you want me to call you a woman because you transition, but you can't even tell me the struggles of being a woman. So it doesn't even make sense to me. So that's why I cannot call trans women women. Trans women are trans women, period. And then another thing, trans men, you don't never see anything in the news about trans men want this, trans men want that. The only thing I've ever seen was like always taking the female off of their packaging for trans men. That's the only thing I've seen. Only thing. But hey,
so are you saying men are gatekeeping trans men from being a part of the community? Are you suggesting that, or is that just how I took that, and I took that wrong?
No. I don't think anybody is gatekeeping. I think if anybody's nobody's gatekeeping, because I don't even really understand that term. That's like basically like a group of people trying to keep outsiders out, I guess. Yeah,
and you kind of give them tests. Like if we were talking, say we were talking about Dragon Ball Z, and you meet a girl and she likes Dragon Ball Z. She's like, hey, I like Dragon Ball Z. Can I hang out with y'all? No, yeah, for the most part. And then it don't even have to be that. It's just like, but do you watch? And then we start giving you the test. And I see a lot of nerd people, and we're getting on subject. Don't get on this subject too hard. I'm just using this as an example. Men test women on the knowledge of their nerddom, and in order to say you could be a part of this community or not. So that's what gatekeeping is, basically. It's like you say you're a part of this community, but because you're an outsider, I gotta hit you with the what do you know? And if you don't know what I think you should know, then you can't be a part of this proverbial community. Which doesn't matter because you could just be a fan on your own. So anyway, I don't know how that could correlate to men and women doing that against trans men and women. Because I do hear that conversation a lot, though. You know, you didn't go through this, so you can't be that. You don't know this, so you can't be that.
Yeah.
You know?
But I don't think that's gatekeeping. I think that's more of saying, like, I can't wake up tomorrow and say I'm a slug. I don't know nothing about the slug struggle. Like, I could be a trans slug, but I can't be like, I'm a slug. You know? Biologically, I'm black. I'm a woman. I know that. I know the struggles of both sides. I can't wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm a white woman.
Oh, no, I mean, trans race is starting to be a thing now.
Trans race is a thing I've seen. I can't wake up tomorrow, bleach my skin, and be like, I'm white. I don't know anything about being white.
I can understand that. I mean, even within the black community, when allies come in, and I say that loosely sometimes you actually have allies, and then other times you have people that are being performative. So when actual allies come in, and we're looking at them with the side eye because we're so used to people being performative, we don't want to accept them into the community, and we're like, why are you here?
I'm sorry. Hold on. In the comments,
Jared Jones said, she said Rachel Dolezal would disagree. Yes, she would. Hey, that lady. Say what you want about that lady, but that lady had that curl. She was rocking that curl. She was natural. Was that a wig though? Was she like putting on a wig? That was her hair. Okay, Rachel.
She probably put a perm in it. So for white people, when they put a perm in their hair, it curls up. For us, it straightens out hair.
I learned something new today. Ain't know nothing about perms and other people's hair. I only know about the perms from my sister and my mom when they sitting yelling at, when she hit her with that comb because she want to be still back in the day. That's my only experience with perms.
And Kevin talking about he identifies as a 60-year-old rich man. Okay. Why 60?
Right? Why? Well, all I'm saying is, it's 60 the new 50, apparently.
But, okay.
You was like, that ain't much of a jump there.
You still get that AARP card at that time.
Look, I can wait to don't diss AARP. I'm too close to AARP. I got like another 30, and then I get my card.
Chill. We're just a little bit closer than we were last year. Okay, you'll be alright. Then he also said biologically we were born with some presets, so he understand. What do you mean presets? Like, what did you mean by that? I'm guessing as a man. I don't know.
Well, in video games and stuff, you have preset that give you kind of almost already made human being, and then you just kind of click them, and then you edit them yourself. So I think that's maybe where he was going with that.
He probably was, because he is definitely a gamer for sure.
All right, so we're gonna end this conversation, but I have this article from 2021, written by Dan Avery over at NBCNews.com. And it's called Trans Women Retain Athletic Edge After a Year of Hormone Therapy, Studies Find. And within this article, it's just basically telling about how they did this study with active duty soldiers. And they studied like 40 something of them. I'm looking for it. Here we go. It was 3 physicians. They conducted a retrospective review of medical records and fitness tests for 29 transgender men and 46 transgender women from 2013 to 2018. Now, the reason I bring up this article is because I was watching, I think, The Daily Show, and I can't remember the lady's name that was on there, but she was mentioning that she told Trevor, it was a recent episode, I believe, that there were no studies. Trevor Noah. From The Daily Show.
The Daily Show.
He was. I can't remember who she was interviewing. I'll try to find it later. Sorry, you guys. I am slipping on my pimping today. But he did an interview with this trans lady. She's an advocate. She seems very smart, very intelligent lady. But she was saying that there was no studies done. And I will agree, there's not many studies done, but to say there's none is a little shaky on, the information. Because here's the study here. But anyway, in this study, the Air Force fitness assessment includes a number of push-ups and sit-ups performed in a minute, and the time required to run 1.5 miles or whatever. Basically, they did this test, and within the first 2 years after starting hormones, the trans women in their review were able to do 10% more push-ups and 6% more sit-ups than their cisgender female counterparts. After 2 years, Roberts told NBC News they were fairly equivalent to the cisgender women. So
who
basically,
very equivalent to the cisgender women, trans women.
So basically, eventually, after 2 years of being on the hormones and getting the balance and everything balances out, they were basically equivalent. So you gotta have the 2 years of the hormones, though. That's the whole kill. That's the kill to the mo right there. At least according to this article and this one study. I didn't see any other significant studies anywhere else. But I will say, go read this article. It's a very good article to have another side of the conversation. Again, that's That's NBCNews.com. Trans women retain athletic edge after a year of hormone therapy, study finds. That's the article.
See?
I will link that on the Facebook and on Twitter.
Okay, Facer.
That's a new site.
That even with the hormones, they still have an athletic edge.
A slight. For at least for the first 2 years.
So ain't no telling what's going to happen in 5 years.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, because the article does go on to say that a lot of the people in that test, they weren't keeping up with everybody. So I can't really say it's a conclusive study because they didn't continue keeping up with everybody because they were probably either out of the military, You know, that's a whole nother can of worms, especially when you're trans in the military. So we're going to end that conversation and we're going to move on to Roe v. Wade.
Oh, dang! I forgot we had to talk about that.
Yeah. We actually are like 5 minutes overtime on that last conversation. So
let's burn it down.
So unless you've been living under a rock, and I'm pretty sure you guys haven't.
Okay.
We found out a few months ago that Roe v. Wade was going to be overturned.
No, yeah. When we first found out,
we found out because they had
season 5.
Yeah, because the data leaked of, you know, because they do like a mock-up vote and they give their disposition before they do their actual one. They get it like a pre-thought kind of in the Supreme Court. Fast forward a couple of months later, it actually happened. The whole world was shocked that it happened. Most of us was pissed. Most of us was confused because the only thing some of us know is Roe v. Wade only covers abortion. We didn't know rights. Abortion rights, correct. So we didn't know that a lot of us didn't know that it covered like contraceptives and
Miranda rights too, right?
I think all of that is within that, and interracial marriage and a few other things. Look, on the side note, the Supreme Court has been wilding out on just tearing shit up and changing the game right now. So there's that. We're only going to focus on the abortion for the most part and why, well, our opinions. Do you have an opinion first? Or you want me to go first on this one?
Nah, you go first because I think we almost got the same opinion.
Okay.
Almost.
So, on a personal note, after doing some research and reading and listening to a bunch of talking points and a bunch of talking heads on the left-wing media, right-wing media, progressive media that's right in the middle,
conservatives,
I have come to the conclusion that this ain't a black people fight.
Boom!
It's not a black woman's fight.
Boom!
So, okay. So how did I get there? Okay, so the white community, our white brothers and sisters over there, they are in decline. In a bunch of places, a bunch of different counties. Their population is going lower due to mixing of the races and all that good stuff. A lot of interracial dating, a lot of interracial marriage, a lot of interracial children. So they're in decline, correct. We are not. The minorities of this country are not. We're on the rise. So when you take that, then you take the next step of the Supreme Court. Rumor has it, and from conversations from Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice what is this man's name and why can't I say it today?
Clarence Thomas. You said
oh my God, I know, and then
tripping up over your words or something.
All right, and given how he's been doing a lot of talking and taking a lot of heat for all of this stuff, he was talking about interracial marriage as well. So why would you take away, and this is all conspiratorial, people, so don't quote me on this, but when you take the fact that they're going after LGBTQ communities, stopping interracial marriages, stopping marriages for the LGBTQ people, and taking away abortion, it kind of makes sense that they would, you know, when you really pay attention to the fact that the community is declining, that these are the steps they were taking. All of the steps they're taking is to stop the decline of their community. That is a conspiratorial thing. That is what all the other media is saying. If you listen to Tucker Carlson on Fox News, he ain't saying it like that. But there's a lot of conservative, a lot of MAGA media going around talking about the whole white replacement theory. They don't want you to talk about CRT. This abortion thing is not a black fight. It's not. And let's just also be honest. Throughout the years, feminism, there's been a difference between white feminism and black feminism. And when it comes down to a lot of black feminists come out and say, when we have issues within the black women community, white women, white feminine women do not step up I've heard them say it. It's not me making shit up. So when you put all that into a ball, boom,
Roe v. Wade.
It makes sense that Roe v. Wade was going to go first.
Makes sense. It makes sense, especially after that girl said, what she say at the Trump rally? This is a win for white lives. When she said that, I said,
yeah. Oh. Yeah. After that happened.
Said that, I was, because at first, honestly, when we first talked about it, because we, like I said, we talked about it in season 5. So when we first talked about it, I honestly thought it was an all of us fight. But as soon as, and even when it was overturned, I was still upset. But as soon as I saw that lady say this is a win for white lives, my whole thought process took a 180. I was like,
right.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, and a lot of conservative media have been celebrating this turn, and I get it. You know, the state should have more rights. I understand the theory, and it can be sound in some cases. But when you think about certain states and abuse of power, and when you start factoring in those things, it's like, this is not one of those things the state should have control over.
Nope.
Because it's too different.
It's too different. Sleepy Joe pushed a executive order, but, you know, it's going to be a uphill battle with that.
Man. Let's go to the comment section really fast.
Okay.
Ms. Jones said this reversal was 20 years in the making. It's no coincidence that states were putting their draconian laws on the books before the reversal in preparation. You know what? I heard someone say that the difference between the GOP and the Democratic Party is the GOP plays the long game. And they really do. Like, they put all their ducks in the row. You kind of have to respect they play the game. When you look at, and I tell people all the time, like, you got to learn the game. When you look at Mitch McConnell, when you look at Trump, or any of those people that you see on TV, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Biden, they all play the long game. And those are the 3 Democrats I called out are the ones that are more Republican than you really pay attention to. Like, they ride the coattails of the Democratic Party, but the top of the Democratic Party is really more like center left. I forgot this. No, go ahead. I found
out that the Democratic Party was just remnants of the Republican Party when they back in the day when they wanted to have just 2 main parties. Even though we have more, you know, parties, those were just the 2 main that they wanted.
Yeah, of course. That's basically, I mean, and then when they did split up, they did have 2 ideologies, but then they switched ideologies at some point as well. So,
but are their ideologies kind of similar, just on 2 different sides?
Well, it depends on
what it is.
Okay, basically, what everybody else sees, when the majority of people see, is Democrat versus Republican, but deep down, and what I started to notice around when the Tea Party came up, remember that? Is there are subdivisions of different parties.
Yeah.
It's more than just liberal, conservative, and center. It's more than that. You have neocons. I can't exactly tell you what all these are, but I'm just saying that you have progressives. They're basically Democrats, but they feel different ways about the Democratic Party. Like, I consider myself to be a progressive. I said that on the show before. So, you know, I'm for getting rid of a lot of the older politicians, especially those that don't know anything. Because
especially the lady that supposedly, allegedly got dementia.
Oh, yeah, and that's that lady, right? I think Jill Stein's still there.
She is.
Comment here. Ms. Jones again said one has overt racism and one has covert racism, which is absolutely correct.
Yes.
It is absolutely correct. Look at Biden. Biden told us, he told us at the beginning that nothing will fundamentally change.
Yep.
And he was absolutely correct. Nothing has actually changed. The same things that was going on as we've been going forward, we was upset with Trump. It's basically a continuation. And in fact, for the most part, every president, except for like a few outliers, have done the same exact thing. It's just a different level of it. So,
actual factuals.
I mean, until we get in there and we actually find candidates this year that's gonna make a change, that we get behind it, we push like we push the popular parties, nothing is going to change. Like, if you're gonna be a Democrat, I urge you to look into progressive movement, because the progressive movement is like 90% of what the popularity wants. They want Roe v. Wade. They want education for the free education, free college, community college education. They want the student loans paid off by the government. Like, student loans council. Like, these are the things that progressive want.
Why are we considered one of the greatest companies? Lord Jesus. Our country is a company, but...
Yeah. I mean, you was right.
Well, I know. But why are we considered one of the greatest countries, and to get higher education, we got to pay for it? That just doesn't make any sense. A lot of countries out here don't pay for college.
They don't pay for college. They got
good health care,
maternity leave, paternity leave,
paternity leave.
Did we say healthcare? We say healthcare, free college education. It's a whole bunch of stuff that everybody else, every other major country has that we just don't have. So it just is what it is. Oh, but real talk, I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna move on. So how did I come up with my theory of falling into this is not a black fight and we're just casualties of the system at this point? Back in the day when welfare was implemented, overwhelmingly welfare was only offered to white people.
Yes, it was.
Then in around the 60s and 70s,
even
black people,
this day,
it's still the same, but around the 60s and 70s, that's when black people were allowed to get on welfare, and the kind of white people got upset. Some racist white people got upset. Those racist white people were politicians. They changed the narrative on it. They made it harder to get. Then they said that every black person on welfare was lazy and unproductive and don't want to work. That type of thing happened. And then when they changed the laws, they literally was like, okay, we changed the laws now that black people can. They did all that stuff, and they were like, we're doing it to hurt black people, but white people are just casualties here. And that was the moment when I heard old buddy say it when he was explaining. I was like, Roe v. Wade. This is exactly what Roe v. Wade is. We're just casualties in this. Like, you can fight. I'm not saying don't fight it. If you want to fight it, fight it. I'm just letting you know that we wasn't the target this time. Like, don't feel like you're the target this time. You're not. You're just a casualty of this target.
You're just a casualty.
We got to move on because we still got other things to talk about. Pop culture. Let's talk about Elon Musk. Elon Musk. Okay, so it's two stories with Elon.
Musketeers.
It's two stories I want to talk about. I just want to briefly touch on the fact that him and Trump been going at it. Elon, listen, y'all know we be kicking it on Twitter a lot, so we love Twitter, right? At the BK Space Show. Elon, a few months back, was talking about buying Twitter. I knew he wasn't gonna buy Twitter. A lot of other people knew he wasn't gonna buy Twitter, but for him to be such a smart businessman, the man literally was like, I'm going to pay this much for it. He was going to overpay for it. I think it's like, what is it, $4 million? Was it $4 million? Something like a lot of money. It might have been billion, but whatever the case was, I think it was $4 billion. He was going to overpay for it, and this man didn't do his due diligence. So he signed the contract. Now they're suing him, I believe. Now he got to pay like $1 billion of that to them if he's, if the courts say so, of course. But I knew he wasn't gonna buy it. Elon is a clout chaser. Everybody knows that. He's gonna go with whatever's gonna get him the most clout. And
you don't even need the.
He's a narcissist, man. He's a narcissist. He don't have to be. That's how you know he's a narcissist. He's a
Texan.
Was he always a Texan?
I think he's born in Texas.
Okay. I don't want to say he's a narcissist. That's allegedly.
He's a narcissist.
Allegedly, he's a narcissist.
He got narcissistic behavior for sure.
Yeah, I knew it was because Twitter was like, they had put out a tweet like maybe 2 weeks before he decided to buy it, and they were like, we're going to add the edit button. And then he came up and was like, I'm going to buy Twitter, and the first thing I'm going to do is add the edit button. And then he let all his followers go him into buying Twitter for that clout that he was chasing. And now he got to pay for it. But that's not why we're talking about Elon today. We're talking about his father. What's his name?
The Musketeers. Errol.
Errol. We're talking about Errol Musk. Do you have that article on you?
I think I do.
If you don't, we could just talk about it. You could just tell the people what happened with Errol.
Errol Musk, nasty self.
Nasty.
Just nasty. Decided to have a relationship with his stepdaughter. Not only did he have a relationship with this stepdaughter, they also had a kid together.
Wow. That's wild. That is gross.
And his only rebuttal to the whole thing was, well, we were only put here to reproduce.
Wait, that's what the daddy said?
That's what the daddy said. That's why I'm trying to find the article, because I've ended up reading the whole article.
Lord.
We were put here to reproduce.
But not with your own stepchild.
Your stepchild. And he raised her since she was 4.
So he groomed her.
Basically.
That's nasty. Bruh. You know how we feel about groomers. You know, we kind of went in on Drake Bell, too. So, I'm just saying,
There's one groomer we did not put in the docket.
Who?
And it just popped into my head.
Who? It is giving Woody Allen vibe.
We did not talk about this before the show. What is his name?
I don't know.
What is his name? The guy that plays the Flash.
Ezra Miller.
There you go. Ezra.
Yeah, I forgot.
You going to hell. You're nasty. You're trifling. You're dirty. You're just disgusting.
I remember, like, how this all kind of just randomly started with Ezra. Like, he was calling out some random group, sound like KKK group or something like that. And he was like, you know who you are. I'm coming for you. And then months later, he was getting kicked out of a bar and arrested.
Now I'm starting to think, was he part of this white supremacist group? And then since he didn't conform to what they wanted to do, they blasted him for his grooming. Because I'm pretty sure in white supremacy, they do a lot of grooming. I'm pretty sure of it. But it just begs, you just wonder, is that why? Because out of nowhere, Ezra was like the new big thing for DC universe. You know, he was the next big thing. And then out of nowhere, he's a groomer. You know?
Yo, it did come out of nowhere. And usually, and all this is alleged. I mean, that part, what you just said, was he a part of it? I don't know.
That part was alleged. That's alleged.
All I know is he was grooming his child. And then, like, did they run away together? Did they run away together?
Child, he got like a farm in Vermont, and he got the kids on the farm with the mother.
He was ducking away from the police.
Yeah.
Like, yo. So
this story it's a lot of layers.
It is a lot of layers. Like, I'm concerned about the well-being of those people. And see, when you do stuff like this, especially when you're an actor, when you do stuff like this, you put a lot of people's careers at risk. How much work people don't understand that. That's what be angering me about celebrities when they do stuff with, and why I also kind of find it interesting or intriguing and whatnot. It's so many lives you put at stake. Like you're I ain't talking about the higher ups that get all the money. I'm talking about the other people. You know, those thousands of people you see when the camera is rolling. Got the hiccups, y'all. When the camera is rolling, like, all those people, they're not making millions of dollars. They have families to feed. They have debts and stuff. And then you be reckless like this with your life and with your career. A lot of people's lives are depending on this celebrity succeeding, this movie succeeding. And you only get so many shots and so many jobs before what's the problem, you know? So I feel bad for a lot of people that's involved, especially with any of the DC movies. Even though DC got the money to rebound, that puts that whole franchise on lock, which is thousands of people not getting paid.
We're not going to see a good DC, like live action DC whole like I guess like a Marvel event, like how they had Infinity War and Endgame. We probably don't get that until we in our 50s. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Let's get back on Elon before we move on. Move on.
So Errol, we're gonna just say Errol. That's how you pronounce it.
I think it's pronounced Errol. I know that name. I think it's Errol. I heard it before.
He trifling. That's nasty. He definitely groomed this stepdaughter of his. They had like a relationship for a few years. That's disgusting. How can you watch somebody grow up from a toddler and then you just like, oh, that's my girlfriend now? What?
Yeah, it is weird. It's weird behavior, man.
Almost 30 years apart, maybe 40 years apart.
So, do we know how Elon feels about this? Like, he got to have an opinion, right? Has he said anything?
I ain't seen nothing about Elon. I haven't seen anything that Elon said about his daddy yet.
He probably won't.
Given
the fact that him and Trump are in a feud, Trump are in a feud. I want to see. I feel like Trump gonna bring it up.
Then what's so crazy? Oh, Trump will go low because you know he's go lows. Then we just found out that Elon has 10 children of himself. I thought he only had the 2 with the ex, and then the 2 with the girl Grimes.
Yeah.
But I didn't count 6 others.
Wow.
And then his rebuttal to that was when all of that information came out. He was like, well, he's just trying to help with the depopulation. He didn't say depopulation of white people, but we know that's where the numbers are falling. We know. And then that goes back to the fact that Roe v. Wade is not our fight.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I was saying, full circle, baby. Full circle. Trump gonna be like, Elon Musk, your daddy is nasty, but he can't really say much because he be trying to holler at his daughter though. Allegedly,
Trump can't say nothing.
Okay, is it allegedly? Because we got a lot of footage of him talking about how fine his daughter is. I mean, he ain't say it like that, but dude got a thing for his daughter.
He basically said it like that, but he basically said it like that though.
My daughter is the baddest chick in Washington.
Didn't he say something weird? Like if she wasn't his daughter,
yeah,
he would date her or something.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Don't nobody say that about their kids.
For real. Hey, speaking of Trump and weird, and this is gonna segue into our next story. By the way, my segue game is gonna be dope. Last night, I ended up watching this documentary about Victoria's Secret. I think it's a show. I watched the first episode, and it's called Angels and Demons. Victoria's Secret's Angels and Demons, and it's about the owner of Victoria's Secret, the guy that owns it, and his relationship. At least that first episode was his relationship with Epstein, and how Epstein kind of finagled his way into that man's life and got power of attorney over all his assets, all the business he had, and all that, and how he was also using his power to say he was, and they ended it, the first episode, with a model talking about how he called her and was like, hey, I'm Epstein, and I am a, what is it? Not a groomer. That's not the word I'm looking for. He was basically saying that he was a scout for Victoria's Secret, and that's how they ended the episode. And then it was going on to the next episode. Anyway, speaking now that it's going into, what is his first name? What is Epstein's first name? Jeffrey. Going into Jeffrey Epstein and what we know about Epstein. Let's talk about Ghislaine.
Oh, the handler.
His handler, and R. Kelly, and the sentencing that they both received recently here, which I found kind of weird that both of those sentencings came really close together.
They were like a couple of days apart.
I
don't even think that was a whole week.
I don't think so. And allegedly, this feels a little bit, it feels shady. You know how they trying to give you the carrot? They give you the carrot, and then they give you, and then they give you the misdirection comes. So, because Kel's got 30. Maxwell got 20.
But this is what we were talking about, because there's a part of me that feels like the reason why he got more in an extensive sentencing is because he was doing the act himself. He was sex trafficking the girls himself.
Yeah.
He was having these relations with women underage. With girls underage. Let me say it like that. With girls underage himself. Whereas Ghislaine was like sort of like the accomplice.
Yeah. So I can agree with you on that.
That is the only reason why I would think.
And I think you would be absolutely right, though. But we gotta talk about optics. Go ahead, you first. I'll say mine after you.
At the same time, either way, no way you put it, both of them did some very atrocious, disgusting things. You know.
Yeah.
But I really think that's why he got more of a sentence on top of him being black.
I agree with you.
And you know he's also in court again for some other charges right now, so he could get convicted of something else.
Yeah. I agree with you to an extent.
Oh, she was participating.
She was. But I think it depends on how she was. Like, was she just a part of... Was she like a part of it from the beginning? Did he just bring her in to do this and she was a willing participant? Or was it more like, I don't have a choice but to do this? And then she was just so good at it. And kind of like, what's the thing when you get kidnapped? Stockholm Syndrome.
Okay.
In that sense, was it like that? Now, see, that I can understand them giving her a little bit. You still got to do your time, but maybe take away that 10 that R. Kelly got because of the syndrome, if that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? I don't know for sure. I didn't really get a chance to read it. I don't think they really talked about all that.
I don't really like reading those stories because they make me so angry.
I usually check the documentaries.
Yeah, like I just don't understand how somebody can be so sick to hurt children. Like, kids, they can't do nothing for themselves.
I'm still trying to figure out how the hell Jeffrey Epstein was able to swindle his way to the top. This is
he ain't kill himself. Say nah.
This is allegedly. This is allegedly. This man dropped out of college. Still found a way to get into rooms and areas that the normal person wouldn't have been able to get in. Then get offered buku's amount of money. I said buku. I know ain't nobody used that word since the 90s. He was offered buku amounts of money, given a whole bunch of power, and lorded it over so many people. We're talking celebrities, presidents, Trump, Clinton's wife,
actors, actresses, entertainers, billionaires.
Yo, you know how they always talk about the Illuminati? Like, yo, this man had more people on the payroll. I don't want to say payroll. Had more people in his corner in some sense, or payroll.
On his docket.
Than any story I've heard. Like, yo, this is some crazy. This is trumping Cosby and Weinstein. This is literally, that guy was the kingpin, and his second in command only got 20 years. I feel like old girl from Smallville probably got more. I don't know how many years she got for being in that. What was it, Nexium? Was that what it's called, or something like that? That cult she was in, that sex cult she was in. I feel like I don't even think she got like. Did she get? I know she probably got some time because they were branding people too, though. They were raping and branding motherfuckers. Like, oh, excuse my language.
Too late. It's out there.
I got mad comfortable right there. Whatever the case was, I was disappointed in her too, by the way. I was a fan of hers. And then find out that she was a part of that cult out here branding women and taking their money and stuff. It was disappointing.
Ghislaine only got 20 years because of how many people could fall with her? Just like the
Oh.
exact reason why there's always a alleged thing about Jeffrey Epstein killing himself, because he could have say Jeffrey Epstein was still alive, right? How many people do you think he could have taken down with him?
All of them.
My point exactly.
You know who ain't really saying much? The Victoria's Secret guy. Like, he was so second in command, because I think that guy is. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. So
who? The Victoria's Secret guy?
Yeah. So he ain't saying nothing, or he hasn't said anything, or he didn't say anything. Nobody knows how he just gave up his power of attorney, let this man run so many businesses, got this man so much money. It's so weird. It's just a weird story. And I want to know, like, I'm nosy enough to want to know how all of that just ballooned into this. So, yeah, I kind of watch a bunch of the documentaries and stuff. Like, my man's was sick. She was sick. Ghislaine was sick. R. Kelly was sick. But compared to what Ghislaine now was, for real, but what he was doing is small potatoes compared to her.
I actually used to feel bad for R. Kelly. I used to. For the simple fact that he was one of those people that were abused, so he wanted to be the abuser. But after a while, it's like people were feeding into him because they used his genius to get paid as well. Like, we all know he was a musical genius. We know that. His voice is all over the 90s. We know that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's not sick. That doesn't mean that, we can't get a check from him.
We enable power. Like, that's what we do in this country. That's what we do in this world.
Everyone in Congress.
Absolutely. Except for like 7 people.
Except for that twerking senator or whatever she's trying to be.
We're going to talk about it in a second. But yeah, the sentencing, I don't think is really that far off. I think it's weird the way they announced them all. We all know R. Kelly's story extensively at this point. We ain't got to get into it. Just know he got sentenced. And I just found it weird that his sentencing came right before they gave hers. Because I think a lot of America was paying attention to hers. And it should have been a lot more fun. So, are you okay with being live every week now?
Yeah. I'm here for the live. We live, baby.
Yeah, I kind of like it too. It allows you to be a little bit more laid back.
Yeah, we're a little bit more laid back. I feel like I'm not like, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't feel like I'm too serious. Like, when we were just sitting there recording, I feel like I was always just too serious.
Yeah.
And I also like interacting with the comments that all of our viewers leave during the show. And that could always spark up like a new idea. So, yes, I'm definitely here for the lives.
We should keep this going.
I think we should keep it going.
All right, Space Gang. We do have to end this. Like, we was like, we're going to be an hour. We over. Like, we doing 1 hour. We got this.
No. We agreed on 115.
115.
We agreed on 115.
115. You right.
So, I mean, we only a few minutes over at this point. So, we doing good.
Thank you guys for coming through on these comments. I know if you're watching live or watching a replay, you see me looking over. I'm just reading the comments. That's all. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was doing. I was looking down at my phone. I mean, I had a couple of little messages, but other than that.
Yeah, I know if you're on YouTube and do live videos all the time, yeah, but some of our audience may not be. So a lot of these people don't even have YouTube accounts. So, just saying, you should get one and subscribe to the BK Spadez Show on YouTube. Okay. And you should go to our website at www.thebkspadeshow.com and order that new t-shirt that we just put out, because it's up right now. We got a logo tee, a straight up regular old logo tee, where I will show you really fast, and we're going to do this really quick. All right, if you're looking at the screen here, this is our beautiful website. You should definitely go check that out. You see that we got blogs, we got a shop. You're going to come on down here to where you see Novacaine's avatar right here. You're going to click her. Boom, right there. Take you right to the shop. And boom, we got shirts, we got mugs, we got the hoodie.
Don't forget the mask.
And we got a maskus and stuff. That's how the old people used to say it. Maskus. So, make sure you guys show up next Saturday at 11 Eastern or 12 Eastern? 12 Eastern. Correct? Okay. 12 Eastern?
We're going to be doing 12 Eastern, yes.
Yeah.
From now on.
12 Eastern, 11 Central. So, yeah. That's our show, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it for today.
Be sure to head over to www.thebkspadeshow.com where you can get all our merchandise, the blog, the audio, all that stuff, all in one spot for free. Not the merchandise, you gotta pay for that, but the show itself is for free. So make sure you guys check us out there. And we out this thing, man. Thank y'all for coming through. I have been the BK Spadez here with my very lovely co-host
Novacaine, baby.